Right, I've decided to be a little bit silly here, and I'm going to play some games against the computers on lichess. So we'll pick just the standard stockfish. We'll start level 1, random colour. Because it's unlimited, there's no actual time, but I'll still play it like a quick blitz type of game. But you'll see some weird openings in these lower stockfishes, or you often do. So sometimes if you encounter some weird openings and weird moves, it could actually be a bot that you're playing against. Okay. I can obviously go forward. You don't really want to go back. Actually, you could go forward here, hit the pawn, but I'll just go here and up, I think. So there is no clock here. Or here I'm quite happy to just manually castle. Then the bishop goes back. Yeah, that's why sometimes it's a little bit odd when you play these engines. But of course it'll get drastically stronger as we go through the levels. I'm just going to develop the bishop and castle, I think. Oh, well, that's got to be losing, hasn't it? Let's just take. We hit the queen, we hit the rook. Comes down, attacks our queen. So we'll just block. I guess we get the bishop back and then develop the knight. Queen up if needed, but let's castle. Okay, let's come up, just gently pressure the pawn, maybe bishop up. So at any moment, the engine might suddenly start playing pretty well. Could do. And that's at any of the levels. Here, I think I just take the pawn, right? Try and get the queen off the board. Maybe you've got bishop up, doesn't? So I will take a knight up. Yeah, I still think knight up. Get another piece off the board. We're much better this game, so I'll get pieces off the board. It should be cleanly winning. Oh, it didn't take there either. Let's just come back then. Okay, let's come across. Maybe pawn up and bishop up. I mean, I guess there is pawn here. Well, that's walked into another one. What the heck? Let's go with the bishop this time. It's really odd, isn't it, this? So this one should be a pretty comfortable win, but the will get significantly stronger. So it walks back into that again. So here, back. I don't see the actual forced checkmate, so let's just take it nice and steady and go after that bishop. Oh, I could have gone check actually and got the bishop off. Okay, well now I can do it this way. So create a checkmate threat. Okay, king can step up. I'm just trying to see if there's a checkmate there. I don't actually see it, but let's chuck the rooks forward. Actually, let's just check and collect a pawn minor. Is there a checkmate though? Here, here, here. Let's just check. If here there's a checkmate threat, now the bot does actually see that. So here. Here. I mean, I guess you can step forward. Doesn't. So let's go here. And now it should be checkmate, right? So we get there in the end. So that was us playing against Stockfish level 1. Right, I'm now going to try playing against Stockfish level 2. This is my first attempt as well. Pick a random colour. So again, I've no idea what rating level it's going to play at. That's an invitation to switch to an E4 game, but I'll just play in English. Again, I'll play it just like a relatively quick game. But it's already playing a good opening. Oh, and then I see that. See, that's a slightly unusual move, but it's good to play against these engines because you see how the engines actually play. And if you ever encounter any real or supposedly real players playing like that, then you know something might not be quite right. If takes here, I think I just take. And I'll take anyway, I think, then maybe push. Oh, it doesn't take back there either. See, that's when it is a little bit odd, isn't it? So, I guess we just keep our knight. So I can come back here. Does it really matter if I lose this? I mean, maybe I've got e4, but you can just allow takes, can't you? But I think I'll just play e4 and try and push in the centre. Okay, I'll come across. It could be good to allow this to get the piece off the board just because you've gained a piece, but I'll try and launch forward now. The knight up might be a move. Knight's come down. So the queen does guard, but I've got bishop up. Pawn down could be dangerous. F3 could be then a move though. I'm looking at knight up as well. I don't see quite what I get. I'm going to risk this. I'm going to play bishop here. Maybe there's actually... I might have blundered knight takes, actually. Yeah. Knight takes, king takes, queen takes. No, I think here I'm just going to trade off. I might have made a mistake or a blunder there. Oh, again, it doesn't take. So I'll grab the bishop. Maybe I had bishop up here as well. So here... doesn't take there either. So I'm going to play knight up and hit the queen and then try and get this bishop back. Well, now it takes and allows me to get the queen. Yeah, so even on this level 2, it's playing not brilliant, is it? Relatively low level. Okay, I'll just take. But you never know if it's going to suddenly kick into actually playing good chess. You just never know that. But on the stronger stockfish levels, I won't have any chance at all. I'll have no chance whatsoever to compete. I mean, I can go here and threaten checkmate. So we can just deliberately leave our knight hanging there, because that's actually a checkmate threat. So now we can come in here, but this obviously just looks clean. In fact, is that a mate in 2? It could be a mate in 2 actually there, if you spot it. That's a nice checkmate in it, nice way to finish. So that's stockfish level 2. Right, we're now going to move on and play a game against stockfish level 3. This is also our first attempt, so we'll pick a random colour. Again, I'll just play it like a blitz game, even though there's no time on the clock. But these games are going to get more and more difficult now, so we'd expect to get more standard openings and then more difficult openings at some point. We might get caught out. Let's just try and get our pawn. Queen up is a book move. It's just a slightly less common move. I can't remember if I should take the pawn or trade there. Let's come up. Now, bishop up might walk into knight down. Here. I think I just dropped back. But yeah, queen here is a little bit of a slightly odd move. It's a move, but it's just a less common move. Now this allows us to play knight forward. We hit the queen and we hit the rook. So here we might be able to grab a pawn and then take back, or we can just take the rook and allow this. But a pawn's a pawn, isn't it? So let's take the pawn. We hit the queen, but we still hit the rook. So now we take. We just want to try and get the bishop back in castle if we can. But we're not in danger of being trapped just yet, are we? So I think we're fine to castle. But I still want to get the bishop back here as a defensive piece. Oh, now the pawn flies down the board. So here, can you come down? See, maybe. This is where the game could go wrong. I'm going to take a risk here and potentially sack a pawn just to try and gain some development. If I can get h4 now, I can deal with this. So I've given up a pawn to develop, and I still need to try and get my bishop back. Okay. So I'm going to spend a move and do that and make sure I don't forget about the bishop. Now I can try and develop my other pieces. Oh, offers a queen trade. Well, that should be good. Should be. Take, take. I'm just going to trade there, get my knight up. But you can see it's already playing relatively decent chess, relatively speaking. So let's get the bishop up. I'm trying to move one of the defenders of this pawn, get my rooks into play. Now, trade, and there's pressure here. So take, bishop takes is still this. So I'm going to play rook across first to pressure the pawn. Okay, now we should be okay to take, I hope. I don't see why not, so I'm going to trade everything and try and swap these pawns as well. Oh, then it doesn't take. So out of nowhere, it suddenly doesn't take again, like in against the first two. Okay, now I'll just play rook across then. So we'll take there as well. I'm going to play knight forward to come back, but to also hit the pawn. Try and hit the bishop. Knight down, not worried about. So take. I can throw a check in. What about back first? Yeah, I'm going to actually play knight back first, hit the bishop. Okay, so now I can trade and I can safely take and collect everything. So pawn for a pawn. It doesn't take that either. Let's take. We just need to get the knight off the board now. So let's just come across and threaten to take the knight. Okay, now we can just pin the knight and take it next move, even if you guard. Now pawn up should be good. It's just a case of being sensible and not being sloppy and blundering everything now. So let's just bring the king up. Okay, let's take. Yeah, just run the pawn at the board. Actually, it's cleanest here, isn't it? Just got to avoid a stalemate. It's the only risk. Okay, let's try and concentrate for this bit. The king can definitely move, so we're safe to get a queen. So let's just check, and then it should be checkmate. Unless obviously you come forward. So we get a checkmate, and that is stockfish level 3. Okay, we're now going to move on and play stockfish level 4. Again, I don't know what strength it plays. I'll just pick a random colour. Unlimited time. So we get black for the first time this time. So let's play the normal Caro. Obviously, it's going to get harder and harder and harder. And the top stockfish levels, I will have 0 chance against. Won't be able to compete against them. So in this position, h5 is the correct book move. Yeah, bishop down is book move. Queen up, and that's actually a poison pawn, but it's still a standard move, so you can push here. Trying to remember if I'm supposed to check. But I think queen, it's a standard move, but that's a poison pawn, depending on what white does. Yeah, bishop up. Take. And if you take here, you can get into a lot of trouble. But I'm trying to remember how. I'm trying to remember if it's a poison pawn. I think it is. Knight up, takes, castles, and suddenly you can get embarrassed. You can get trapped. I think it is. I'm just wondering whether to go for it because I don't remember the full line, but I'm pretty sure it's poisoned. You could give up the queen and get 2 pieces though, make it interesting. No, let's stick to principle. We're playing against a computer, so just try and play it principally. Again, we can take now, but then you've got this, so that's no good. So let's just develop the bishop. I don't think it'll take here. Doesn't actually goes queenside. Wow. Let's develop our knight then. But you can see it's already playing fundamentally very good chess now. So pawn up when needed, knight across. Let's do pawn up first, but I'm probably going queenside. I'm not certain yet. Yeah, see, that's an extremely strong move, so this is where the engine is playing like an actual engine now, and this is where it could get pretty brutal here. It could do. So we could be getting crushed this game. We could be, obviously it's playing like an actual engine. Oh, that's a slight mistake. Allows us to double up. Will it throw any blunders in like the first 3 have done? Will we get any actual blunders? Knight up is a very natural move here, isn't it? I don't see anything better. Let's pop the knight forward, just gently pressure the pawn. Maybe rook up just to pin the knight now here. I assume I want to go up and hit the knight. I could actually go here and trade. That looks nice. You're going into a slow end game then. So let's go here first. Knight and we just take. Oh, knight's gone back. Okay. So I'm wondering whether to go here. We're threatening to actually then potentially win a pawn, because queen takes, we can take the knight. It looks like a move, doesn't it? So let's just play it. So we're actually threatening to win a pawn there. Okay, the engine sees that straight away, of course, so they're up guards. So what about going down here now? I'm looking at c5 as well, but that really weakens this, so let's play rook forward. Okay, let's get rid of that rook. Queen goes back. Okay, I need to start taking a little bit of risks here to try and open things up. Now, I might be walking into this nonsense as well. I might do. So take, something takes. Let's just open it up because we're trying to weaken this as well. Oh, this time it didn't take. So what's it seen? Maybe there's simply no way to guard this. But here, queen takes, we can throw in a check. Knight blocks. Maybe it's just fine. Maybe it's fine. I'd like this. I don't quite see how to get it. Rook up again. Yeah, I'm going to give that pawn back because I don't see how to keep it. So it does take with the pawn. Let's sidestep our king. Maybe pawn up, play a couple of defensive moves. Rook across is not a move that I saw. Let's come back and hit the pawn. I'm trying to bring the rook in. I don't see how. It's very disconcerting, though, isn't it, when the bots move quickly like this. But I think I've got knight up here. Rook across, I guess, will have to be played. Then queen over or queen back. Does it matter? Maybe. Let's drop back and pressure the pawn. I guess you can push, but let the bot worry about its own moves. I want to get my rook active now. Do I come this way? Does that just happen? I've got pawn up, I've got knight back. You see, it's a much more difficult game now, though, isn't it? Rook up is covered everywhere, so they're not moves. Pawn up feels a bit risky, a bit loose. So let's just bring our rook across. I'd expect a move like knight across. Doesn't do that. Let's just come back and kick this rook then and see where it lands up. It goes across, but again, they're all covered right now. I'm going to bring the rook back and threaten to come in. So the queen drops back. Let's bring the knight back then to hit this pawn again. Now the knight goes back. I do have rook up this time, don't I? Play rook up to hit the knight. But it's playing very, very well, isn't it? Very difficult to find anywhere to break through. So queen up, you've got rook back, but then the knight does hang. I'm not seeing any way to actually break through. Takes, we can't take here. Let's just go up one. I'm tempted to chuck the pawn up the board now. Attacks my rook. Let's come back again. I'm probably going to chuck the pawns up the board, I think. Let's try and go forward. Now I'm giving myself a chance to at least plant the knight, although have I gone too far allowing rook across? Maybe. Actually, I'm going to try and push this pawn as well, I think. Your rook's gone across. I'm going to try and activate my queen. I'm taking a real risk here. Now there's a check to hit the knight, but my own knight does hang. So my own knight will fall. So take, if you take here, so I've got nothing. I can obviously take here first and you can come up. Okay, let's take. So let's take. So now am I just simply lost? My queen does cover this, but it's still actually not good, is it? Not good. I think I can go here and hit the pawn. Now I'm threatening to check. Okay, but I can check here. You can't block with your knight, so it's safe to capture. But it could be just over now. Once that knight moves, I take. There must be a way to set up a checkmate. Oh, I can pin the queen. You can't hit me, and I can pin the queen. Have I found a way to beat Stockfish 4 then? Now, I'm safe to give another check. You can block with a rook, but not with the knight. Does. So now I think I'm safe to take. There's no knight check. Okay, now I'm safe to throw a check in. Oh, now the rook's pinned, so we can attack the knight. Okay, now it should be comfortable. It should be. It doesn't mean it is, but it should be. So I can trap the king. Yeah, that must be good. Keep the king on the back rank. And just don't be silly. Actually, no, let's check and get the pawn. And then come across maybe. Yeah, this should be comfortable now. But it's taken a heck of a lot of time, hasn't it? So if I'm going up the further levels, it's going to be really hard. You can see it's playing fundamentally decent chess. Actually, the king's trapped here now. I'll just run a pawn up. The pawn can push, so there's no stalemate risk. And then we get checkmate. So that's Stockfish level 4, but that was a much more difficult game. From 3 to 4, that's quite a big jump up, but we got the win. Okay, now we're getting into the realms of very, very difficult, so I might not have any chance now because we're playing the second half of Stockfish. So this is level 5, our first attempt. Random colour again, but this is where it might start getting... We might start getting crushed. So we had this opening against, was it the very first one that we played? We're just going to try and challenge for the centre as per usual. But I think the computer will play very strong from now on. So I'm just going to try and castle. Again, there is no clock here. I could take my time, but I'm going to just play them like relatively quick blitz games. I think I'll take that and see how it takes back. Okay, so rook across is probably a principled move. You'd like to push forward, but there's not really anything wrong with e3 either, so I'll just develop the rook first, then maybe get the bishop up. Now we do have a chance to push on though, but should we? I'm not sure. Well, let's get, excuse me, let's get the bishop up and then get ready to trade. And play maybe e3, I think. Actually, I'm going to get the queen out of the way. Threatening just to take and win a pawn. Oh wait, is that all? Oh no, it's because we haven't played e3. Now I'm threatening to take and win a pawn, and this is solid. So knight out wide might be a move. Knight comes forward. Ah, but can't I take here? Ah, if I take, your knight takes it. Take here. Here. At least it's a messed up pawn structure. Back, we'll end up seeing this, but that seems alright to me. Now I could take here first, or here, but we lose the bishop, so I'll just take. This feels like it should be alright. I'm assuming the knight will take to guard. This should be a decent structure for us. Actually, if I've got knight back to hit the pawn, you can't actually push because of my queen. So 2 attack and nothing defend, so it could be a pawn. Except I missed that move, but I've got knight takes and rook across. But you can see it's already playing very good. Very, very good chess and pretty quickly. Now I can't take here because of this. So that's a bit of a technical problem, isn't it? So I'll have to go with my pawn, which I don't want to do. But we've got an extra pawn, so we can lose the pawn, and we're still not any worse off. Oh, surely it's good to push here. Take away the squares. So knight across, we hit the pawn, we hit the bishop. That feels like a good move to me, so I'm going to play it. So you can't come forward. Well, you've gone forward here, but we can try and grab a pawn. We hit the queen, and then we can maybe go here. We just got to watch this. So should I take f3? Just feels principally wrong. But if I move my rook away, that I don't like the look of that either. But here, maybe the queen can jump onto a safe square somewhere. And then we might end up getting our knight pinned, but it feels like you should try for it, doesn't it? What about just bishop up to blockade? What about even just pushing here? Lose a rook and then gain a knight. But here, I guess it allows this. I just wonder whether to play a bishop up then go sensible solid. I think I will actually. I'm going to play a bishop up. I'm playing a strong engine now, aren't I? Not a weak engine, a strong one. So I could still push here, but again, now I can take, but you can pin the knight. So that's not good. Hold on, is there a knight hanging here? Knight for knight. But if I take, you're going to have to take my bishop first, I think. Otherwise, I take your bishop. Well, isn't that a bishop? Oh no, my rook hangs. What am I doing? My rook would hang. So gain a bishop, lose a rook. No good. So let's maybe drop back. Just overprotect everything. And now try and get behind the pawn. And then we are safe to push the pawn. If we can find a way to. Oh, now again, if I take here, then we can actually take the pawn. So we're not trapped. And here we can come back. So here, across, rook takes. Oh, I could even go here, couldn't I? Yeah, just go here. I think it's safe to take now. Oh, surely with a trade, that has to be good for us. So here takes, that's no good. But a trade has to be good for us here. So try and solidify, then just push the pawn. So push. I might lose this pawn, but if I can trade the rook and the pawns off, I should still be better. And I'm going to go after this pawn. Now try and swap the pawn for the pawn, get one of the rooks off, and it should be comfortable. It should be. Doesn't mean it is, but it should be. But that's actually another pawn that'll fall as well. This is going surprisingly well, considering it's stockfish level 5. I think I simply get behind my pawn here, step up, and I don't see the risk. I think this should be comfortable. Now I just have to march my pawns up the board. Oh, maybe I should have cut the king there, actually. Although, no, I've got to go slow and steady here, don't I? I've got to do this very slow and steady, but it should be simple enough. Or try and swap these pawns for these pawns. As long as I don't blunder some nonsense. Let's just check. Oh, the king's gone back over. I didn't expect. Okay, it's just letting us march the pawn now, so this should be over now. If the king comes up, we queen. Otherwise, we just pin the rook and that's game over. Barring silly slips. I don't want a stalemate here, which I could do. I'm just trying to pay attention, but I'm just going to... Actually, what I'll do is I'll cut the king to stop the king from coming further forward. Now I'll trap the king at the back, and now we just queen. We've beaten stockfish level 5 as well, so that's level 1 to 5, all of them at the first attempt, so that's really good. Well, let's properly lose our mind and be silly enough to play a stockfish level 6 lineup. So this is again our first attempt, pick a random colour. But we really are at a level now where I shouldn't really be able to compete, so I'll play a Caro, but the very strong levels, of course. The slightest little mistake and I'll just get punished. That's what I'd expect, but let's just see what happens. Here you can block, you can play knight up, the only two real moves. I think I prefer bishop up here, just as a nice simple challenge to the bishop. And I'll bring my knight up instead of here. We just challenge this, but we're just going to try and castle and take it from there. So pawn up at some point, just sensible, solid chess. We can't go up 2 anywhere, so we might as well go up 1, and then it's just a case of what do we do? Probably bishop up, I guess. In which case we'll go 1. Now the bishop doesn't come up, so we could go up 2 then. So knight in. Yeah, let's just go up 2. I expect bishop here now then, but let's just see. Launches 1. Okay. I'm going to take there then and just give the computer an isolated pawn. I think it would be a bit foolish to try and guard the pawn. That just feels wrong to me. So knight up here, pawn down. It might be a line, but it feels wrong. I mean, maybe I can go with rook for a move, but yeah, like knight here, I guess you could take, but we're getting into the realms of it being quite sharp. Okay, do I do it now? Now it's let me develop and castle. Okay, let's be silly and push a pawn up then. Bishop down should be good to trade, shouldn't it, in principle? But you'd like your rook back, but... Okay, let's take then. How are we going to get punished here? I think just queen up or rook across to push. Let's play a rook back and look to push the pawn if we can. The rook comes up. Okay. So let's come up and attack this pawn. Do you guard it? Oh, you just take. Oh, but now the other pawn falls as well, didn't it? I missed that. I mean, I guess we can trade, but... Okay, I'll take. So... that would be nice, except there's a back rank issue. So gain a pawn, check. Knight blocks. Knight down, up. Knight down is covered, so it looks like it's a move to grab the pawn. It's dangerous this, but I'm going to take. Yeah, so it doesn't go for the back rank immediately, so we could drop back and then get behind our pawn, I guess. But what about just pawn up maybe? Let's just give our king an emergency square. I want to push this pawn, but do I get behind or go in front of it? If I move this knight, rook down hits them both. Let's just push the pawn up then. I want to pop a knight in the middle then maybe this one across. Okay. Let's just come back and guard. We're not really going to guard, are we? Knight now isn't a move, but this one is. Oh, there I can trade and take a pawn, right? Okay. It's still a draw. A theoretical draw in principle if you've just got 4 versus 3 pawns on the one side. I don't see quite how I get behind this. Here. But that'll be a move, that'll be a move. And I can't stop them both, can I? And I can't get my knight across. So I can't stop this concept. So what about rook up then? Knight over, knight across. I'm going to do that actually. I'm going to try and do something like this. Or at least try and trade the knight and try and secure a draw. Yeah, knight up and hit the knight. We're threatening a check to win a pawn if it doesn't trade. Oh, it's allowed us to win another pawn. This could be winning then. What the heck? 4 against 2 is winning in principle. In principle, we just start rushing our pawns up and hope we don't blunder, which we might well do, of course. It is level 6. But now our king's got a square. Oh, am I getting into a position where I might get boxed in? But if I go this way, I might lose my pawns. So here, down. Do I gamble? I could play pawn up, I guess. No, I'm going to go sensible and go this way. Well, now I can step up maybe. Here, if you push, takes is alright, I think. Here, if you take, I guess I just step back. The problem is the computer knows how to play chess, doesn't it? If I come back, your king simply steps up. So I've got to do something. So do I just maybe sack this pawn? Let's go here first and see what it does. I expect pawn down. Oh, it does take. Okay, let's sidestep for now. But how do I guard this? I don't think I can. Although maybe I just take. Rook takes, take. Yeah, that's got to be good. Now I can definitely guard this pawn. I've got 2 pawns against none. This should be winning. It should be. Wow, can you imagine if we beat Stockfish level 6 as well? That would be something, wouldn't it? No, don't be stupid here. Keep the king cut on the back rank and then eventually just move up like now. And try not to blunder a silly sloppy stalemate, which I'm capable of doing. Now it's a mate threat. Right, so is there an actual finish here? So check. Here, I don't see it. Here, I don't see it. Rook across. You'll have to go here. I don't see the mate, so I'll just push the pawn for now. You're tied down on the back rank now. So I'm just going to prepare to push the pawn. Let's just hope I'm not blundering a stalemate trick, but if the rook ever comes forward... here, take, take, and that is a stalemate, so... But can't I just go here now? And we're threatening to check. Wait, what? Is that a move? Well, it's been played, but why can't I go here now? Rook check, takes, takes, just come back. Yeah, this is winning. Hold on, can I just go here? No, you go here, don't you? So, here. If you go here, it's actually the front pawn that you need to push, so the king can come this way. I know this technique. Right, so now we just have to be sensible and not silly. Don't put the queen next to the king. Shuffle it to the edge of the board and then just bring the king around. There's no rush whatsoever. And that's checkmate. Wow, we've beaten Stockfish level 6 as well. I've no idea what rating level it's playing at. It doesn't tell us, but level 6 as well. First attempt, very good.